everyone. God bless you. Today, I am actually pretty excited about our topic of discussion today, and that is because I'm going to be talking about loving oneself or self-love after motherhood, right? Something that for some might be very easy and for others not so much. And I think that I'm very happy to talk about this because it's something that I have lived through, of course, and because of where I'm at with it, right? I'm in a place where I'm happy. I have learned to embrace myself, my body after motherhood. And I am hoping that today, if there is anybody watching this that has still not gotten to that place, I really am hoping and praying that you do get to that place. It's a beautiful place to be in, to be comfortable in one's body, to embrace it and love it. That does not mean that you are exactly where you'd love to be, but it means that right where you are happy with yourself. And that's how it should be. We should love ourselves in all stages of life, right? Even when we're not necessarily at where we want to be. Like, as you work towards what you want to look like, love yourself, embrace yourself. And some women have been extremely blessed in the snapback category, which is pretty much what we've called women that have babies, right? And then they give birth and it's like nothing happened. Like, literally, you don't see a difference. Like, if they were skinny, they're just as skinny. If they were just voluptuous bomb curves, slim waist, like that's pretty much, they have this baby and then they go right back looking to the same way, right? Wearing the same clothes, like so that is a blessing, but not all of us, right, have that same case. Some of us really do struggle. There are even women that maybe even struggle past a certain point that I haven't even experienced. So there's certain things that I can't talk about. I know that some people are really, really affected physically after giving birth. I know there's like diastasis rectis. I always say it wrong, but separation, right? Internally, things that make it difficult for you to pretty much go back to maybe being the weight that you were, or your body to look the same. There's also other people that have had C-sections, that have had scars, just many different reasons, darker stretch marks, many different things, right? Many different changes. When we are pregnant, our body goes through so many changes in such a short amount of time. Even though 9 months sounds long for some, it's a short amount of time for your body to go from being one way to being completely different and growing a whole human being. And one of the things that I'm here to talk about and really hone in on is I'm here to talk from a person that I did not have that snapback, right? I was not blessed like maybe some of you guys have been. Like, oh my God, hats off to you. I battled, right? I struggled. I definitely battled. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be a voice for everybody else that has battled and is maybe even battling right now, because it's hard, right? It's hard when you see so many people just snapping back, and like there's this conception of you have to bounce back, like you have to go back to like your pre-baby weight, your pre-baby body. And I think that it's not meant to be a bad thing. It was maybe never meant to be a bad thing, but I think it's turned into something that can be like a spiral, a very negative spiral, right? Because we keep talking about snapback. You see celebrities looking like nothing, right? Even though I really don't know why us, regular human beings are always comparing ourselves to celebrities or holding ourselves to that standards when we know they have resources that we don't have, right? Chefs cooking them, nice, healthy, delicious meals, personal trainers, plastic surgery, like all these things that we may not have access to or even want. So I don't know why the comparison's there, but even let's just go down to like regular people just like ourselves. Sometimes we see the next person has 3 kids and we're like, oh my God, like how do you look that great? And there's this comparison that we keep doing. And I think that has been such a bad downfall, like this idea that you have to bounce back after you've given birth. And I want to get rid of that. Like, I want to shut that down. Like, I've grown to almost hate the concept. And mind you, I even have a post, like I was really looking forward mentally to kind of going back and like snapping back and being at that place after I had my baby, to being back to that place where I was pre-pregnancy. And then that was when I realized, you know what, my body did something so big. Like, it created and it birthed a whole human being. I need to be gracious to myself. I don't need to look like what I looked like before I had a baby. I need to just be a better version of myself where I was at after having a baby. and embrace that. Embrace the extra skin, the extra curves, the stretch marks. Embrace everything that came. The body changes, the emotional changes, just embrace it all. But it was really hard. Like, this is one of the things that's much easier said than done. And I remember for me, what was really, really hard was I had worked so hard. Like, I knew when I wanted to get pregnant around the time, right? I wanted to wait about 2 years into my marriage before we started trying to have a baby. And that's just about pretty much what we did. And what happened was I worked really hard. I was like, I don't want to be out of shape. Like, I want to be in really, really good shape before I had a baby. And I looked good. I worked my butt off for a whole year, consistently working out every day after work at home. And I really kicked butt. Like, I looked so, so good. I actually had not ever been that. I hadn't lost weight in such a healthy way before. I have lost weight many, many years ago, but it was because I developed IBS. Chronic IBS was really bad. I couldn't eat anything. So I lost like 30 pounds in a month. But that was unhealthy. Like, I was starving pretty much because I really couldn't eat anything that wouldn't do me bad. So aside from that point in my life, which was years ago, like 2015, that I lost a ton of weight, I had not lost weight again in a healthy way, like exercising, you know, and just doing normal things. And I finally did. Like, I was working out every day, right? Keeping, you know, a balanced diet here and there and whatnot. And I felt so good about how I looked. And I was so happy with where I was at. I was like, yep, I'm ready to get pregnant, right? Because I just didn't want to have extra weight. And then with the pregnancy, you're going to gain weight. So I worked hard to get to where I wanted to be. And I was happy with where I wanted. And then I got pregnant. And I loved being pregnant. Like, I really, really loved being pregnant. And I think I got a little emotional saying that because I genuinely don't know, like, if I will have another child. Right now, it's not on the table. But I remember, like, how much I did love being pregnant. I did. Like, it's such a great feeling. It was. And I remember loving, like, just watching my belly grow, like, the whole process. And I definitely was never thinking of, like, what will my body look after this? I didn't care about any of that. And I remember I had my baby. Obviously, you still have, you know, some sort of belly and stuff. And over the next couple days, weeks, it starts to go down. Eventually, when I arrive at looking at myself and I'm like, okay, this is my body, right? Obviously, I had lost a ton of weight, but I still had gained some pounds. And, you know, it was just, you know, pretty much just like loose, a little bit of loose skin, soft belly. I know some people call it apron belly. There's different names for what I would say a physical description of what my body looked like something I didn't have before. And it was kind of that apron belly or so, the extra like skin underneath there. And I remember my frustration started when I would try to put on the same clothes. Like, initially jeans didn't fit. And it was just this snapback thing in the back of my mind that, like, I don't know, I guess I felt like I needed to fit into my clothes, like, as soon as possible. And I remember trying on, like, things that I had bought before and worn before when I was pregnant. There was a lot of things that didn't fit. A lot of things were, like, form-fitting, and I hated it. Like, I really, really, truly hated it. I preferred, like, to be in, like, sweats, tights, bigger tees. Like, that was what I was most comfortable with. So whenever I had to, like, get dressed for church and, like, throw on a dress and stuff like that, I remember being super, super uncomfortable, because, you know, I could see, like, the apron belly and stuff like that. And I remember wearing, like, fajas and all these things, but I've never loved those things. Like, kind of putting on this facade, like, yeah, it looks snatched, but this is not what my body really looks like. And that's just me personally, nothing against people that wear them. You want to be snatched, girl, be snatched. Do you? I personally just never liked it, aside from how freaking uncomfortable it is and hot and just annoying. That was the hardest thing. It was trying on old clothes and not liking how they look. So I remember I decided I wanted to be graceful for myself. Obviously, I had worked out before. I was going to continue that. Working out for me has become like a lifestyle. Like, I'm not doing it to get to a certain point and then stop. It's something that I started before I had kids, and it's something I'm going to continue because I just want to be the best version of myself, and I want to be strong. And working out is something I do for me, and it's something that pushes me. So I got back to working out, but I think that I kept thinking like I was supposed to go back to looking how I looked before I had a baby. And it took me a really long time to arrive at the conclusion that it's okay if I never look how I looked before I had a baby. Like, you kind of have to break up with that mentality, kind of have to break up with that aspect and that desire to want to snap back, like that whole I need to look how I did. How is, like, how, like, it's okay if you don't. Your body literally just did something it had not done before, you know. So what if other people do go back to looking how they did? And I say quote unquote because there's still things that, you know, from the outside, yeah, maybe they look the same, but you'd never know. You know, there could be stretch marks, there could be other things, and that's okay. Like, this is all evidence that we just did something so huge, which was bring life into this world that was formed within us. And I had to really just separate myself and just break up with that idea of you're gonna go back to looking first. I'm working towards looking at where I was. And there's even posts, like I ran into them last night, where I was like, this is what I look like pre-baby and this is what I want to go back to. And I think that it took a long time. I've had 2 kids since then. And where I'm at now is I've totally broken up with that idea of I need to go back to looking how I looked or whatever my weight was. Not my goal anymore. A scale is not going to determine anything for me. I will work towards being comfortable and loving myself every step of the way. And I do. I have arrived at a place where I absolutely love myself. And I will continue to do that as I continue to progress towards wherever it is that I want to physically get to. But it takes a while. It takes a while. So don't feel bad if you have had kids and you haven't arrived at a place where you feel so confident in yourself that you walk into a room and people can just feel that, because confidence is something that you don't need to say a lot. Like, it's just something that people perceive. And that's a beautiful thing because it's something internal. Like, it's beautiful when other people compliment you, but when you know, like, you look good and you're happy with what you see, like, that is such a great feeling, to be at such peace with yourself and to really fully love and embrace yourself. And it is what makes other people embrace and love you too. You attract exactly how you feel. And it took me a long time to arrive at that, guys. A long time. My daughter is now 3 years old, and I think it's been recent, you know, that love for myself. It's been a discovery journey. Like, I've had to find it, you know, that self-love and that embracing of my new body. And there were a couple of things that helped me arrive at that. One was digging deep into who I am in Christ. God created me, understanding that God created me in his image, that God calls me beautiful. He calls me chosen, right? He calls me his bride. You know, he calls me a precious jewel. There's so many things. And I had to start learning again, you know, in a new way, because I had always heard this, but I really had to learn and own who God says I am, right? And that he created me perfect. You know, from the day I was born to who I am today and what my body looks like after kids, like, he allowed me to go through that, and I need to embrace everything that came with that. That was the very first thing, understanding who God says I am, you know, and knowing that my value is in him. Another big factor that really helped me embrace myself and love myself after motherhood was my husband. And I kind of say that, and I'm hoping to not get emotional, but I already feel it. And I told him that once, you know, I was like, babe, like, you've really been key in helping me love myself after motherhood. Like, it's hard. I don't think a man necessarily understands, right? Maybe a man can sympathize and empathize with his wife, right? With his partner who has carried his child and has gone through, you know, changes, emotional ones, physical ones, mental ones, but they don't know what it's like, right? They've never carried a baby. They don't know what it's like to literally feel your body changing, have a baby, have this great, you know, child that now brings you so much joy, but then also looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, like, wow, there's so many things that are different. And although he does not understand that, like, he's never been in my shoes, what he did for me just goes so far. And it was just love and embrace who I was. Never talking about what I looked like before, never diminishing me in any way, verbally, nothing. Like, my husband never said anything offensive about my body. You know, when I didn't love myself, my husband loved me. When I didn't love my body, my husband loved my body. When I hated all the changes after birth to my body, my husband, you know, assured me that he loved me. Not only did he love me, but he actually loved me even more. And for me, if you know my husband, you know that he's a very honest person, brutally honest. Honestly, if you know him, you know that. Like, if you're wearing something and it don't look good, he's gonna tell you. He might hurt your feelings. He's not really gonna care. We're working on that, right? That not everybody's ready to kind of receive how direct he is. I have thick skin, and one of the things I always loved about him is his honesty. He gives it to me straight. He doesn't sugarcoat it because I'm his wife. He's not really scared to hurt my feelings. He has sometimes, and when he does, I tell him. But there are rare occasions. I do really have thick skin. I do appreciate honesty, and I don't appreciate, being babied and people kind of sugarcoating things just to not hurt my feelings. So I love that it's one of the things that I loved about him and why we match so well, because even though he's so direct and it might hurt someone else, it never did hurt me. I always appreciated his honesty. And Junior's the type of person that if I'm wearing something and he's like, no, go take that off. Like, absolutely not. And I'm like, but it's mad cute. Like, I love, no, just no. And I appreciate that, because if he doesn't like it, like, I'd rather him tell me that than me be walking around with this outfit all day and he's just in his head like, oh my God, she looks crazy, or I don't like what she's wearing. So I'm happy with how honest he is with me. And that is why the way that he made me feel went so much deeper, because I knew that his words were not just words. He was never telling me, I love you more now, I love your body more now. He was never saying that to make me feel better. Like, I know him, and I know he just can't lie. Like, he has to be honest. And that is what made me like realize, like, wow, my husband really has embraced my new body. And his actions showed that. Like, it didn't just stop at words. I think that I've honestly never seen my husband more in love with me and just attracted to me and like, love eye gazed and just drooling for me than after I had kids. And it's crazy to say that, because I know that unfortunately not every woman is that blessed. And I feel for you, because I know of many women that unfortunately their husbands have told them like, hey, we need to get you in the gym, you need to lose some weight, you need to get back to what you look like. And although those words, maybe the husband's coming from an encouraging place and trying to just cheer you up and get you to feel good about yourself, sometimes it can be triggering, right? It's so empowering when you have someone that tells you, babe, if you want to work on yourself, I got you. Like, push through, you can do it. Like, hit the gym. But that they're also like, what you look like now, every stretch mark, every, layer of curves, everything about you, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. I love it actually even more than I did before. And it's truly like warmed my heart, right? When my husband, just to see him get to that point, like, I told him he was key. Like, he was so crucial in me learning to love myself after motherhood. It was really, really hard. But to just see him, his words, his actions completely embrace me and my new body, that was so empowering. Like, you have no idea how defeated I felt, because I thought, I'm like, what if he doesn't like what he sees? What if that was always a thought. What if he doesn't like me now? Because I have, a little bit of extra weight. That was always a thought in the back of my mind. And when my husband started to not just say, but show his actions that he really did embrace me, my new body after kids, guys, I really can't tell you, like, my heart still, like, I get emotional, because like, it's really hard. It's really, really hard to love yourself after kids. For some people, maybe not, right? Because you go back to looking like yourself. But for those of us, right, that we didn't get that, like, we didn't have no bounce back, no snap back. We had, for some people, if you've breastfed, you went from your boobs being up here to maybe being down to like your belly button now. You've gone from having no stretch marks to having stretch marks, from, being skinny to maybe being a little bit more curvy now. Your body changes, right? And it's hard sometimes to embrace that. So to have a partner that really empowers you and helps you realize that you are perfect just the way that you are, with all the changes in your body after birth. You are perfect. You are still beautiful. You are still deserving of being loved. You're deserving of all of that. It's really amazing. And I'm blessed, honestly, that my husband was that man, and he was one of the key factors in helping me find, that self-love for myself again and fall in love with myself again. His love towards me and that embracement really did empower me. So that did a lot for me. From a practical standpoint, another thing that really helped me with self-love after motherhood was changing my wardrobe. I told you guys it really hit me when I started trying on old clothes and things just didn't look the same. It was like kind of going back to the past, and it was really hard for me, and I kept getting it in my head, like I need to look a certain way so that I could go back to looking how I did in these clothes. So I did away with all of that. Once, I got to the point of like, well, my husband has embraced me, like I need to embrace myself too. I was like, you know what? I went a little Shein shopping spree. I looked up a couple cute things. I was like, you know what? I'm a bigger size now. That's okay. Let's get ourselves some new clothes. And I completely kind of changed the way that I dressed, changed my wardrobe a little bit, developed a little different fashion sense. And it was exciting. It definitely brought a lot of excitement to me. I was no longer looking into wearing like just sweatpants, tights with a long shirt, like things to cover my body. But I was like, I'm gonna wear normal clothes. Like if the chicha shows and the chicha shows, I don't care. If my husband thinks I look good and I think I look good, everybody else's opinion is extra. And it was really a good thing for me. Getting a new wardrobe, like it helped me. It all helped, trying on these new clothes, like forgetting about the size of the clothes that I had to buy. That was a big one. I really had to get over the size that I was. Like, oh my God, I used to be a size this, now I'm a size. I had to forget about that. And I was just like, this looks good. This is a good outfit. Husband cheering me on. He's been my biggest supporter. Like, you look good. And like, he likes to play, like he's a fashion person or something and put some outfits together for me and then take all the credit that's why I look good, because he put it together. So it's been nice. It was definitely nice doing that. It helped us even bond about that, and again just feel even more empowered, because not only was I super happy about the wardrobe, right, but it also gave us something to kind of embrace together, putting outfits together and whatnot. And it was just really nice. So I definitely recommend that if you're at a point where you're trying to learn to love yourself after having a child, tap into your clothes is not, if your clothes fit, great. If you feel like you keep being reminded of it doesn't fit the way it used to and you need to up a size, that's okay. That is totally okay. Get yourself some new clothes, right, within a budget. Don't break the bank over it, but definitely do it. Do whatever it is that's going to help you get there. For me, that crucially did help me tap into like that confidence again and kind of be like, okay, boom, I'm here. Usually there is a saying that when you look good, you feel good, and that definitely helped me. Looking good really helped me, developing a new sense of style and just becoming comfortable with the new me, right? Out with the old, in with the new. I really learned to embrace that. And another thing that helped me, again, I mentioned it earlier, was just stopping comparing myself to other people, looking at other people's journey. Everybody has their own journey. I, for example, I really did not breastfeed much. I just did not produce a lot of milk. My first daughter had problems latching. When she eventually latched, my production was really low. My second one, same thing. So maybe at 2.5 months at most with both of them, not much, right? So for example, for me, honestly, there hasn't been much of a difference, right, in my breasts. Like I could wear a bra, not wear a bra, my boobs are going to be exactly where you see them. For other people that might not be the case, right? I know people that have gone 3-5 years strong breastfeeding. Oh my God, hats off to you. I don't know how you did it. So I just went 2 months and I was already like, oh my God. It's hard, right? Because you're oh my God, you're hungry, okay, move out, like gotta feed this baby. So don't know how you guys did it, but hats off to you. But to those moms, like obviously changes happen, and that's okay. Like everybody's not the same. Like I have that apron belly or whatever, somebody else might not. There's other people that have either a pouch, or there's other people that have like those tiger stretch marks that you will see them, they're really dark. Everybody has had different changes because they've had a baby. Some people, maybe there's not really changes, but it's okay. Like wherever you are, stop comparing yourself to other people. Your journey has been your own. You've brought life into this world, you've carried life, and that is a great thing that we have done, and we need to learn to really embrace ourselves. And lastly, don't forget that God created you uniquely. There is only one Jolie Mar. There is only one you. There is nobody else in this world like you. So there is no reason why your body needs to look like XYZ person, or the other person you saw on Instagram, or your neighbor, or your sister-in-law because she snapped back and she looks even better now that she has 4 kids. Forget about everybody else. You were made in the image of God. I was made in the image of God. My next door neighbor was made. Everybody was made in their own image of God. And we need to embrace being uniquely ourselves with anything that comes with. We do not need to look like anybody else. Your body doesn't need to look like the next person. So please, even though we use people as inspiration sometimes, make sure that never takes you to a place where you feel like you have to look like a person. May other people's journey inspire you to walk and maybe progress towards your own journey, but always be true to yourself. Never feel like you have to look like someone else. Never feel like you have to be like anyone else. Your journey is all yours. So I really do pray. I really do encourage you to learn to love yourself. If you don't have a partner that has maybe done the best job at embracing your new body, sit down, have a conversation with them, be real. I know it's hard for them to understand sometimes because they haven't experienced those changes, but have that conversation, right? If there's something they're saying or doing that's not helping you, let them know. At least at that point, you give them the chance to really rectify that. Sometimes, they're really not mind readers. Sometimes it's just about having a conversation. But regardless, maybe you don't have a partner that's by your side. Learn to love yourself. God calls us precious, precious jewels. Remember who God says we are. You've brought a baby into this world. You've brought precious little humans into this world. Your body has no reason why it needs to go back to how it looked before you had a baby. It did a great thing. Let it be different. And love yourself with all those differences, with all those new additions. Love yourself. Embrace yourself. Even if that looks like you eventually changing that and, really working on becoming a better version of yourself. Love yourself all the way through. Love yourself now, who you are today, what you look like today, and love yourself 6 months from now, who you are then, what you look like then. Just continue to love yourself, because when we love ourselves, that's really what we are able to put out, and we're able to love everybody else. The Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. How can I love my neighbor if I don't love myself? So remember, it starts with you, and it's always going to end with you. So love yourself. Allow your children to see that you are a confident and wonderful woman that has learned to step into who you are and embrace every single part of yourself after motherhood. Thank you, guys.